Breaking news on CBS Sports HQ. According to our NFL insider, Jason Canfora, the Colts are finalizing a deal with Philip Rivers. That's according to JLC. It had been rumored, but JLC says the deal is being finalized. It would take Philip Rivers to Indianapolis to take over for Jacoby Brissett, who got apparently just one season there at Indianapolis to try to be the starter. Coming off a disappointing season with the Chargers, but many believe he has what it takes to take Indianapolis to the playoffs. And according to Sportsline, this increases the Colts' playoff chances from 48% to 55%. I'm Chris Hassel with Pete Prisco. We also have senior writer Jonathan Jones with us. Pete, your reaction to Philip Rivers going to Indy?
This is the destination we thought he would end up, and I think it's a great situation for him. The offensive line is one of the best in the league, and he needs to be protected. He was not protected by the Chargers. He took way too many shots. Yes, he turned the ball over way too much last year. This is an ideal situation. They do need to get him another receiver, I think. I mean, they do have T.Y. Hilton. He was banged up last year. Paris Campbell. But you know what? If Philip Rivers can still play, JJ will disagree with me, but Philip Rivers can still play, and this is a great move by the Colts. They are the favorite in the division right now.
JJ, you disagree?
Oh, I absolutely disagree. Pete and I have been at each other's throats on this one for some time. So, listen, I think that Philip Rivers' play absolutely fell off a cliff the second half of the season. And it really started in Mexico City against the Chiefs, where he shot putting the ball up for grabs. I know that a lot has been made of Jameis Winston and the 30 interceptions and how many other interceptions were dropped. Philip Rivers was not much better. I think that he was actively harming his team last season. I think that the Chargers were basically done with Philip Rivers, and that was evidenced by the face of the franchise, the quarterback of almost 2 decades, and all that he got was not a farewell press conference, but a simple tweet or two from the team's account as he left. And so the Colts, listen, I am not at all willing to say that they are the AFC South favorites. I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans. I'm going with Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry back on that franchise tag with that defense. There's a lot of continuity there. We've talked about this a number of times, and I'm going to repeat it here. With the coronavirus pandemic, not knowing what off-season activities are going to look like, minicamp, how long this could go, continuity for me is king right now in terms of projecting into the future. The Tennessee Titans obviously are going to have that continuity. They're going to have it over the Houston Texans, who, you know, Deshaun Watson just lost his favorite receiver. And, of course, they're going to have it over the Colts, who now have to work all these receivers, whoever they may have, with Philip Rivers.
I love this for the Colts. I think they're the favorite right now in the division. And when you look at it, defensively, they're getting better. And you make the deal to go get Buckner. Yeah, they gave up too much in my estimation, but he's a force in the middle. They needed to get bigger and tougher. Adding Rivers makes the Colts the favorite in the AFC South, in my estimation.
Why aren't you focused on what he did the second half of this past
season? I am. I don't think he played well in the second half of the season. There's no question about that. A lot of it had to do with the shots he was taking from the bad offensive line. They were horrible on the offensive line, and we see what happens to quarterbacks when the line isn't very good. I think when he gets to the Colts and playing, they did re-sign Costanzo to play left tackle. Across the board, that's going to be one of the better offensive lines in the league. He will be protected. Again, I still think they need to add another receiver to the mix, but they're going to be a good offense. They can run the ball, they can block, they can throw it.
Jonathan?
Yeah. He's absolutely right. Pete is. He needs another receiver that's going to be out there for him. He had the receivers in L.A. Now, he did not have the offensive line. There's no doubt at all about that. Getting Costanzo back, the Colts did. That is huge for their prospects. I absolutely love Frank Reich. But again, if we're talking about the AFC South, I think you have to look at the team that beat Tom Brady in New England. I think you have to look at the team that beat Lamar Jackson and the Ravens in Baltimore. I think you do have to look at the Tennessee Titans, who went to the AFC title game. Now that they have Ryan Tannehill back, now that they have Derrick Henry back, sure, they lost Jack Conklin, but they were prepared for that. And honestly, it was a bit of an aberrational year for Conklin. I have the Titans at the top of the AFC South. There's really not a lot that the Colts could have done in order to overtake them, again, because of continuity. But listen, Philip Rivers, again, he was so bad the second half of the season. He put his team in position to lose so often there in November and December. I did not like it. He took a very bad turn in Mexico City, and it continued his backslide from there. Hopefully he gets it worked out in Indianapolis.
The Titans fans won't want to hear this, but the Titans remind me of the 2017 Jaguars. They really do. They had a running game. They had good defense. Everything went right. They went to the championship game, lost, didn't get to the Super Bowl, and then fell apart. I'm not saying the Titans are going to fall apart because I think Ryan Tannehill is better than Blake Bortles, but that's who they remind me of. And the Titans have an exhibit from way back in the day. They were the best team in the league with Kerry Collins at quarterback and got dumped in the playoffs because they played a ground game and defense. When you play a running game and defense to get you to where you need to go, it sometimes and usually isn't sustainable.
Jonathan, what does this mean for Jacoby Brissett, and how long can they expect Phillip Rivers to be with this team in the near future?
Yeah, he's going to be a high-priced backup. Obviously, listen, and you're going to hear from Frank Reich and everyone else associated with the Colts that it's an open competition and blah, blah, blah. Everybody understands that if Phillip Rivers is healthy in week 1, he is going to be the starter on this team. That means Jacoby Brissett is a high-priced backup. There's not going to be a huge market for his contract, especially with how many backup quarterbacks are going to be out there, how many are already being snapped up. And so there's not going to be a chair for him if you're playing musical chairs for Jacoby Brissett, unfortunately for him. So he's going to go into next season as the backup. And listen, if Phillip Rivers' play means that he is putting the team in positions to lose, they can absolutely move to Jacoby Brissett. And the teammates, the players on the team, they're going to know that, hey, we can't win with this guy. I'm not saying it is going to go that way, but if it does go that way, that's the reason you have a high-priced backup in Jacoby Brissett to put him in there. And you put Phillip Rivers out to pasture.
Trade him back to the Patriots, Jacoby Brissett. I mean, why not?
What could you get for him?
Probably a third or fourth, maybe.
How much do you think Phillip Rivers has in the tank? We know he's
2 years.
He's younger than
Tom
Brady.
I think he has 2 years. I think Brady has 2 years. That's where I see both of them. 2 years. Probably Breeze has 2 years. Then we're going to have a big void at the quarterback position. So, look, if you can get 2 years out of Phillip Rivers, you can go get a cheaper backup and maybe get some picks back for Jacoby Brissett. Although the Colts have a ton of money and they have a ton of picks, so they can do so. Although they did lose their first-round pick for DeForest Buckner.
Yeah. We were sitting here a year ago, and it seemed like the free agent market wasn't as wild as we thought it was going to be. The NBA has been crazy the last couple of years. This feels NBA-like to me.
Quarterback.
All these NFL or all these quarterbacks in big places.
The stars in the NBA are, the stars, and the stars in this league are the quarterbacks. Usually they don't move. And when they move, and when it's guys like Brady and Rivers and Bridgewater and guys that have started games, that brings a lot of attention to free agency. That's why you think that. The class is good. Don't get me wrong. I think this is one of the better free agent classes. We have a lot of guys still left on the market that are going to get good contracts, but it's all about the quarterbacks in this league.
Okay, and things continue to move and shake here on CBS Sports HQ.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.